I'm doing a video here of how to run the Simple Invoice app on an iPhone, and I've tried a few different apps, and this one here is the one I kind of settled on real quick as being a app to make simple invoices without having to deal with a lot of extra details. I mean, there is extras in here if you wanted to use them, but largely it's just a simple invoice app that you just have to enter your company name and email. And so we'll get started here. I accidentally recorded this without sound, so I'm coming back in and doing a voiceover, so bear with me if it all doesn't time out right. But anyway, you see, hit the head and shoulders. You have to type a company name. This is one of the requirements to set this app up. Back this video up if you want to see where we go. We go to the head and shoulders at the top right. The other thing to note is that when you enter a company name, that's required, and also you see that they're requiring an email address. You have to enter these two things in to make this thing work right. Everything else down below, such as adding company information and logo and all the other options that are below, those are not required. You can operate without those. You can use the app and you don't need that. But these top two pieces of information, the email and the company, you do need. Now, you can see we're putting in a dummy email in here, and just so that we can get this app to work. You do not need the app or the email to necessarily be used. Use all these other options only if you want to, and you don't need the email to email yourself if you don't care to use it, but it has to be in there. You have to have an email of some sort in there. So just remember that. It's a really fairly simple app. You can avoid all the rest of that stuff, such as invoice numbers, payment instructions, signature, etc. We're going to go ahead and just dive into the app now. You see that we have at the top right here, just for your information, is the head and shoulders on the top right where you get that info. Now we're going to change the customer name. We're going to put a customer name in, which is required as well, and we'll just call it DEF Company for our customer, and we can leave their email blank and all that. We just need a name. And then you can come to mileage, or rather items. You can see the add item button to add it, and you can tap it. And when you tap it, you type in the name. Let's just say we're going to do like mileage as a service, and we're going to charge mileage for our vehicle. We have like $2 a mile, let's say, for a loaded mile, and 589 miles. So there it gives us the amount, the description, and we hit the check mark at the top left, and that's how that works as far as adding in your invoice line items. And if we want to add another item, we can do that. We can keep adding more and more line items as we need to for the different prices that we are charging. Say we're selling a product of some sort, and we'll call it product 1. It's going to be $50 or something like that, let's say. And just one of those, and when we're done, we hit the check mark, and on the top left, and we're back to another item. Here we have the subtotal. Here you have this part here where it talks about taxes. When it started, that by default that was like VAT. If you don't like that and you need taxes, you can change it, and you can edit this tax label. You can edit it to whatever name you want, like tax instead of taxes, and then you can leave it at 0 if you don't use it. And here's your total due and amount due. Here you have a note down below the amount due, and you can tap that as well, and you can add different kinds of notes. So at some point here, I tap the note. Okay, here we go. And then you can just type, this is a demo invoice, or please pay by this amount, or a reminder that I'll be back next week to pick up more product, or whatever. You can just hit that check mark at the top left again when you're done. This is a demo invoice. You can choose my signature if you want to add your own signature to it. You can add terms and conditions is another spot you can add. You can tap on. You can have a client do a signature, have a signature line for your client. You can do all of that. At the bottom, you notice there's a save, a payment, a send, and a preview. You can save it if you want to be sent to like your own email. You can request payment and add payment information. You can also just hit send or preview. If you hit preview, it pulls up a preview of what your invoice will look like. you can go up here to this little printer button and tap it if you want to print it out on a local printer. You have to be connected to Wi-Fi, like this is showing here, and that printer has to show up on Wi-Fi on your network that your phone is connected to, and you can click print, and it will print it out. That can be very simple. And then you can also hit this little paper airplane on the top right, and you can email it to yourself, or at the bottom it says email, or you can hit share, and at the top bottom right hand side, if you tap share, it gives you other options for sharing this invoice. You can text it. If they have an iPhone, it's a PDF, so it will not go to people who have Android devices. But if they have an iPhone, you can send it to a PDF to them, and iPhone to iPhone, that will work very well. Just remember, a PDF cannot go to someone with an Android device. So, and you can email it. There's other options it gives you. You can copy, print. Again, you can just another way to print it to the same printer. Save it to your own files on your phone. If you want to save it digitally, you can mark it up, all that kind of stuff. The other option is you can hit the preview, and you can actually hit the top volume button on your phone, the up button on the volume of your phone, and the power button at the very same time. It will do a screenshot of this preview, just like what happened there. That is a screenshot that is saved as an image or a picture to your photos, and then you can share that to an Android device. You can share it to anybody, actually, an iPhone or whatever. You do the screenshot, it pops up when you tap it. You can grab the sliders and you can pull away until you just got just the invoice in there as a screenshot, and then you can hit share, text message, and now you can send it to someone with an Android device. You do not need to have someone that has just an iPhone or an iOS device. They can send it to Samsung's or LG's, or it doesn't matter. Anything that is a smartphone operating system can receive this message or this attachment, because it's a picture now and not a PDF. So if that's a handy way to do it, it can be real easy to send it that way. You can also send it as email, and there's just a host of other things you can do, but those are some of the basic ones that you can do, and that kind of concludes our run through on this app. I think it does a pretty good job for as simple as it is, and hopefully this video is a help to helping you navigate through it.